continuation of fake news and police copter cover-ups for November 4th. I left off at the 11:24 a.m. event, and I was making a mistake. He actually did come left to right in the copter pocket, and he made a left turn behind 24191, and then he did the tail wave, and he went through the October 30th spot, and he slowed down a lot, and he put the nose downward as if he was like checking on something to account for the aggressive stuff. And this is the stuff that pisses me off, because they're going to say that now he put his nose down once in that same area. So that accounts for doing hundreds of power circles aggressive with the nose down. And so they it's purposeful. They diminish everything so far, and they take one little part of something and they just make it like 1%. And they're like, oh, well, look, this little 1% happened this other time. And if they wanted to try to make any kind of story work, they shouldn't be so screwed up about it, because it makes it look really bad. Like, he'll come in and do like just one aggressive circle and then leave as if nothing happened. So that's what I'm trying to say about compartmentalized. And I thought they did that on purpose, because like that's how the legal system works. But when I criticized it before, they started changing their stuff and trying to smooth it out. So I just think that they're inept. And so he just pointed it down. He's like, oh, well, look, that accounts for all the other times everywhere else when I had it down doing power circles on his head. So I put the nose down once, and now we're good. And then at 2:49 p.m., I saw it had to be the white silencer helicopter in the left to right pocket. It was miniature, and it had a silencer, but there was a silhouette, so I couldn't account for the copter being white. And I was talking about the tailpiece in my actual video, but it was correct. It is the same tailpiece. It was just the helicopter is so small. At 3:01, the small silencer copter then flew, and this is the problem, because what if it wasn't the small silencer? It was purposely flown out there in the sun so that I couldn't see it. And then at 3:01, the small silencer flew straight down my street from somewhere around Oliveira, Deseo, and 24092 area, and came straight over my head and went out into the park. So it's like, if they sent that other one by and then this one by conspicuously, it always seems like they're up to something. Why would they send it by twice? They usually do a pass and then change it and have another helicopter and be like, look, see, it's totally different. So I think that the one out in the actual copter pocket was a darker helicopter, but I wasn't able to account for that because of the silhouette. And then at 3:05, the police helicopter came from the park, and he came, okay, so I was recording a jumbo jet, and he came from the park, and he crossed like straight out of the park, if you like perpendicular to Jeronimo. And so I know Jeronimo bends, so Jeronimo Cordillera, that's in line parallel with my street. So he came out perpendicular to my street, and he flew over the fireman's house, and he acted like he had to ascend my street and then descend my street. So there's a gradual, and the peak was on my street, and he went out towards Jeronimo Montilla, and he did a tail wave. And so that's to cover up for the taunt tail wave. And then at 3:32, I saw him, he did a power circle over Oliveira Deseo, Solero Deseo area, like a huge one that incorporated all of it, and he was only like 50 to 60 feet altitude. It was crazy and aggressive. And then he put the nose down, and then he stalled, and that's the same concept. Oh, well, I put the nose down once, so that accounts for doing it for hundreds of power circles with it down. If I just do it once in part of a circle, and it's disgusting, like, it's so sickening. These people are demented. And then so he did an aggressive circle, and I think he did like one or two, and then it incorporated Calidad and Falda, and then he did a right descending circle out towards Jeronimo, and then he just kind of took off like all nonchalant. And there's another event that he did out at the October 30th spot where he just went insane, doing it all low and crazy with the nose down, and then he just proceeded out of it like nothing happened, as if it was a regular thing. And there weren't any events posted. That was supposedly routine surveillance, and it was aggressive as all hell. I thought he was trying to kill someone with a helicopter, which is what he was doing to me in all those videos. If you look, it's incredibly aggressive and psychotic. He's a nut. Like, he wasn't even thinking. He's full-blown psychotic. At 3:41 p.m., he came back up from Jeronimo, and this is the one I was talking about when I started to mix it up at 11:24 a.m. at the end of part 1. He kind of came up on a left curve out from behind, maybe like a circle, a half circle, and then he went up behind the two-story house and crossed over the street over near 24092 and went out towards James Crystal's house. And at 4:02, he came on a diagonal towards me from behind 24191, then made a left turn behind 24191 to cover up for the military copter turn and try to say that that's a hill. and then he kind of came up as if he was slightly turning right towards the two-story house, and then he made a left and went out towards a little bit of a left swoop, like cover up for the straight line dart with some big swoops, and also say that, oh, that's a big house in a tree, but he shouldn't be that low anyways. And then he went out towards the medical building, where he tried to leave me out behind so that I would go through the intersection at Jeronimo, Alicia, and past the K9 unit who was looking for the suspicious person. Couldn't find the bad guy. And then at 7:54, the police helicopter came up out of the park, higher up from around Montevideo, and it came down from like around 24092 Oliveira, a little bit closer to my house from there, and then it came straight at me, and it went over the two-story house and out over Jeronimo Montilla. And that was the incident where I was trying to account for the size, and that's it's difficult to do if you're going to get spotlit